What happens when a powerful political system suddenly faces a leadership transition during a time of conflict? A new supreme leader has reportedly taken power, and questions are already emerging about legitimacy, authority, and how this change could affect the direction of the war. The cost of conflict can be immense, but some leaders believe strategic goals justify those sacrifices. To understand the implications of the latest developments, it is useful to consider the perspective of Professor of Political Science Benjamin Rand from University of California, Los Angeles. According to Professor of Political Science Benjamin Rand, the first thing to examine is the background and credentials of the newly announced supreme leader. He explains that the individual appears to be a mid-level cleric, and within the structure of the Islamic Republic, that level of religious authority normally would not automatically place someone in the highest leadership position. The office of Supreme Leader was originally shaped around the authority of Ruhollah Khomeini after the Iranian Revolution. After Khomeini's death, the role was taken by Ali Khamenei, who himself had once been considered a mid-ranking cleric before rising to the top of the political system. Professor of Political Science Benjamin Rand notes that this historical pattern shows how leadership transitions within the Islamic Republic sometimes elevate figures whose authority is initially questioned. However, the current situation may present a particular challenge for the new leader. According to Professor of Political Science Benjamin Rand, the individual has had very limited public visibility. Most citizens have rarely heard him speak publicly, and many people may not even recognize his voice or public presence. This lack of familiarity creates what political analysts often describe as a legitimacy and credibility challenge, both within the ruling elite and among the broader population. Professor of Political Science Benjamin Rand also points out that some analysts speculate the new leader could adopt a more conservative or hardline position than his predecessor. This assumption partly comes from his reported ties to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, a powerful institution that plays a central role in national defense and political influence. Even so, Professor of Political Science Benjamin Rand emphasizes that the leader's limited public experience could mean that major strategic decisions may not be directed solely by him, especially in the early stages of his leadership. Instead, significant political and military decisions could involve other senior figures who already hold established positions within the government and national security structure. Another issue raised by Professor of Political Science Benjamin Rand concerns the broader question many international observers are asking: can removing high-level leaders actually lead to regime change? His analysis suggests that this outcome is historically unlikely if the underlying political and military institutions remain intact. As Professor of Political Science Benjamin Rand explains, political systems often have multiple individuals capable of stepping into leadership roles. If replacements are readily available, the overall structure of governance can continue operating despite major leadership losses. For a true transformation of power to occur, Professor of Political Science Benjamin Rand argues that deeper fractures would usually be required. These could include internal conflicts among political elites or divisions within the military and security institutions. In this context, the loyalty and cohesion of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps would be especially significant. If those security institutions remain unified, the political system is far more likely to maintain stability even during periods of leadership transition. However, if divisions appear within the military or among influential political factions, the situation could evolve into a much broader power struggle. Professor of Political Science Benjamin Rand also notes that public pressure alone rarely leads to systemic political change without some level of support or fragmentation inside the state's security apparatus. Without that shift, ordinary citizens typically face significant barriers when attempting to challenge an entrenched political structure. In the end, the current leadership transition highlights the complex relationship between political authority, military power, and public legitimacy. Understanding how those factors interact will be essential in determining how events develop in the coming months. If you found this analysis helpful, make sure to like the video, share it with others who follow global politics, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth reports and discussions.